Good day, everyone. Today we are going to be starting a new series, and in this series, we are going to be looking at how you can containerize an application. So what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be creating a .NET Core web app. Then we are going to publish it to a file, to a folder, such that we are going to have the runnable version that can be deployed to a web server. Then we are going to containerize that application. Each time I pronounce that word, it makes me want to bite my lips. So we'll be seeing how we can containerize a web app, a .NET web app, and we are going to be deploying it on our container. We are going to be, first of all, pushing it to DockerHub. Then we are going to be using the Azure container instance to run what we have on DockerHub. That's the image. The image we are pushing to DockerHub. We are going to use Azure container instance to run it. So this video might be a little long, so be patient. It will definitely be value adding. So I'm starting by opening my Visual Studio. Visual Studio is coming up. Yeah, Visual Studio is coming up. I think I should probably share my screen now. Yeah, let me share my screen. As I said, we want to containerize an application, and we are using .NET web app as our case study. It does not just apply to just .NET. So if you want to containerize maybe a Node.js app or a JavaScript or whatsoever language, the processes are similar, even though it can be a little bit different. So let me share my screen. So what I will just do is, so .NET Core Web App is what I'm interested in. So let me call it Azure container, Azure containers. Azure containers, let me just call it Azure containers 2. Let me call it that. I will delete it immediately after this video. So next, yeah, I'm fine with .NET 6. So let me create. Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up. So as I said, what we are going to be doing, the first thing is we have our application, then we create a runnable version of that application. Then after that, we use our Docker file to create an image that is based on that application. Then afterwards, we push that image to DockerHub. Then we go to Azure portal. We connect our Azure container instance to DockerHub, and we provision our application. That's basically what we need to do. So Visual Studio has gone off, so I have to start it again. Yeah, so we are here. So what we are going to do is, so what I will do is, the first thing I want to do is, I want to create a runnable version of our application. So all I just need to do is, I would let Azure be done loading. Yeah, I think it's done now. So I'll come over here, I will right click. Then I'll go to publish. So this is just a .NET web app. I should have even run it here so that we'll see how it will be on Azure. So I want to publish it to a folder. And that's why I've selected this folder now. So I'm clicking on next. And now we can see the path. So it's usually in the bin directory, bin release net 6.0 publish. So that's basically what we want to do. So I'll click on finish. So I'm fine with this path. So I'll click on next. And now it's ready to be published. But before I click on publish, I want to show you where that folder is so that we can see what's happening there. So let me go to I would stop sharing very soon and I will share my folder so that you see, I'll share my file explorer rather. But let me just, so that you wouldn't see everything in my computer, let me be sure I'm closer to where I want to be. So what's the name? Okay, I called it Azure Container 2. Azure Containers 2, yeah. Okay, so I can stop sharing now and I can share that folder. I'm not quite sure if I will be dividing this video into two because I don't like long videos, but we'll see how it goes. So this is where the repo is. So I'm opening the application now. This is just standard Azure Web App directory structure. So what I'm interested in, I said it will be published in the bin folder. So this is the folder of interest to us. But presently, we don't have the other folder that we need. Take note that we have just debug folder here now. So let me publish. Then after I've published, we are going to see the changes that will be happening over here. So we won't be seeing only debug anymore. So let me go and publish. I'm publishing now, and it's publishing to folder. It's publishing to folder. So the reason why we need to publish to folder is that the current state of our application is not suitable for being deployed into a web server. We need to have this runnable version because of the way .NET is structured, because of the architecture of .NET. So that's why we need to have our artifacts in a publishable form first before we work with it, before we can create our image based on it. So it's done publishing. So let me go back to over here. I believe you can still see my file explorer. So I'm going to the bin folder now, and now we can see our release. Previously it was just debug. So this release will contain our application in a form that it makes more sense to use. So what we are interested in is this publish folder. It's opened. Yeah, so this is where the action is going to take place. So I need to create I'll be creating a Docker file here. So let me just copy one that I have previously to save time. I'm trying to ensure that this video is as short as possible. Yeah, so I have a Docker file here. I'll just copy it and I'll paste it over here. And I will obviously show you the contents, of course. Yeah. So let me paste my Docker file here. Then I will open this. I will open the Docker file so that we can see what we have in there and what it means. So let me stop sharing and I would reshare the opened Docker file. It's very simple, really. So what we are just doing is we are using this image from Microsoft as our base image. So we are drawing it in, we are creating our image based on what we have for .NET, because I mean it's a .NET application. Then what we are doing is we are saying that our work directory, we are specifying it to be app. So I will use app2 just to make it cleaner. Or let me call it app container. Let me call it app2. Yeah, so our work directory, we are specifying it to be called app2. And we are saying that copy the entire content. So all the files that you saw earlier on in the current directory, we want all the files to be copied to our work directory. So that's what we are saying here. So this work directory, we want to populate it with all the app Azure containers 2.dll, Azure containers 2.exe, and the likes. All the files that you saw previously, you want to copy them over here. And we're also specifying the entry point as well. Yeah. So that's basically what we are working with. So I can also change this entry point name. So let me call this let me just give it the same name as what we used earlier on. So Azure container 2.dll. So this is our simple Docker file. So take note of what I said earlier on. With our first task was to create a runnable version of our .NET web application, which we have already completed. The second thing we are doing now is that we want to create an image based on our application. We want to use our application to create an image. So this runnable version, our image must be based on the runnable version, not the source code that we add in Visual Studio. So that's what this Docker file is really doing. Yeah, so we want to create our image now. And I've explained what all these lines mean. So I'll stop sharing now and I will be opening what's it called? Git bash. I'll be opening Git bash so that we can run we can create our image. So let me come over here. Git bash here. So now I will reshare my Git bash. Yeah, so we have Git bash ready. So what I want to do now is, as I said earlier, we want to create an image based on our application. So the first thing I would do is I'll specify where I want to build my image. So let's use Docker image ls just to see the images that we have at the moment. So I have a couple of them here. This was the one I worked on previously. So let's now use Docker build. I'm building an image. I want to call the name of the image my app 2. We can give it any name really. So let me call it my app 2. And afterwards, so for consistency reason, let me call it the name of my application, just to make it easier for us to understand. So let me call it okay, let me call it my app 2. Let me call it my app 2. Doesn't matter. As long as the previous one I have has a different name. So the images it's already creating the image now. So now let's run our previous command. Now you can see that my app 2 it's now listed as an image here. So we now have 3 images. So what we want to do now is I want to push this my app 2 to DockerHub. And the reason I want to push it to DockerHub is because I will be I'll be launching a server in Azure, and I mean, it's more convenient for Azure to connect to DockerHub and create the instance than for you to do that from my computer. So what I will do is let me go over to let me stop sharing. Then I will share this time around my browser. So I want to create a new repository in my DockerHub. So let me call it my app 2, the same name as the image I had. Just for consistency reasons, then let me call it I don't need to have a description. Oh, I don't have anything to write. So let me just, and I will even delete it just now. So this is fine. So what I'll be doing is I'll be creating this. So this is what I'll be using to connect them. So let me just copy this. So let me create. Yeah. So what I will do now is I will stop sharing and I would go back to my I'll go back to my Git bash. Yeah, so we are in our Git bash now. We are back to our Git bash. So what I will do now is I now want to tag my image to what I have in DockerHub so that I can push it over to DockerHub. So Docker tag, then the image that I just created, which is in my computer locally, which is my app2. Then the name of my Docker account, that's my username for this account, Nigerian Cynthia / the name I gave it in my Docker hub, which is also my app2. So this is really what we need to use to tag them together before we push. Similar to when you are using Git, when you commit, before you push to GitHub. Yeah, so we've tagged it. Then now we want to push. So we also use Docker push Nigeria Cynthia / my app. Yeah, so this is meant to push it to Docker Hub. Hopefully I am logged in. Oh, I forgot to put my app2. Yeah. Oh, there's not meant to be space here. So my app2. Yeah, hopefully it should work now. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, so we just need to wait for some time for the push to be completed. So this is done in layers. So the image is comprised of several layers. In subsequent videos, we might look at how we can break down the makeup of some of these layers. So we've been able to push it to Docker Hub successfully. So what I will do is let me stop sharing and we'll go back to Docker Hub and we'll see. You can see that over here it's saying that before we pushed, so it's saying that there's nothing here. We should use Docker. But if I should refresh this, you'll see that our image will be reflected here. Yeah, so you can see that the latest version of the image over here, and it was pushed about a minute ago. So our image is now in Docker Hub successfully. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to make use of this image in a server. And what we can do is we'll go to Azure. Search for container instance. I hope all my explanations so far have been quite clear. So I want to create a new instance. My container name, let me call it, I can give it anything really. Let me give it the name of our channel. No SKU. So it's not telling me do I want to use Azure Container Registry or Quick Style Image or other registry. So Azure Container Registry is an alternative to Docker Hub. So Azure also have their own kind of Docker Hub. But in this case, I'm using Docker Hub, so I'll go to other registries, a public repo. Then the name, I will call this is Nigerian, yeah, / my app 2. Let me confirm that the name is correct. Sorry. Yeah, Nigerian Cynthia, my app 2 is correct. I hope my spelling is correct. Then we are working with a Linux server. Linux server is fine. If you like, you can use Windows, but most containers works better with Linux environment. So I think that's basically what we need to do. So let me validation pass UA. So now let me create it. So it's running. So I think this is the last stage of our application. So one thing I should have done at the beginning was I should have even run the application in Visual Studio before I created an image, so that you will see that what we have in Visual Studio will be the same as what we are going to be having when we are using the container instance. So it's still, deployment is in progress. We are provisioning our server, which is based on the image that we manually created. I hope my explanation is clear. Yeah, it's completed. Yeah, so all we need to do is just need to copy this IP address, and if everything is working as it should, we should be able to access the um the Azure web app via this IP address. So let's see.